The man never imagined that the most remote village he lived in would one day receive a visit from the king himself. Besides the discovery of a new dungeon near the village, the king mainly wanted to meet Jack, the young dragon slayer, in person. However, judging by Jack's frail appearance, he didn't look like someone capable of fighting at all. But since they were already here, they decided to take a look around the territory governed by Jack. Jack introduced the place. This used to be the most rundown border village, but now it had sturdy walls and a strong gate, along with hundreds of steel ballistae for defense. Seeing this, the king and the prime minister were unimpressed. They had seen ballistae before in the royal capital, but their destructive power was limited, and they were inconvenient to use. Hearing this, Jack had his men demonstrate their power on the spot. As two iron bolts fired in quick succession, a massive cloud of dust erupted from the distant forest. The sight truly surprised the two of them. That level of power was no less than a full-force strike from an offensive mage. It seemed that Jack's ballistae were completely different from the ones they had seen before. Not only that, the layout of the village walls was also extremely clever. No matter which direction the enemy attacked from, they would be struck by ballistae from both sides. When they heard that all of this had been designed by Jack himself, the two simply refused to believe it. Just building the walls and houses alone would normally take several years, and Jack was only an 8-year-old with a production-type ability. No matter how they thought about it, it seemed impossible. Seeing their disbelief, Jack decided to let the king witness his abilities firsthand. So Jack led the two of them toward an open area by the lake behind the village. Along the way, they saw villagers greeting Jack warmly, and Jack politely returning their greetings. This kind of relationship was something that would be impossible to see in other territories. Soon after, they arrived at the lake and encountered the legendary merfolk. According to legend, merfolk were extremely wary of humans, yet here they were, living peacefully, without the slightest sign of caution. Such a scene shocked the prime minister, and even the king was seeing something like this for the first time. Even though they were still processing their shock, Jack was about to prove himself. This time, right behind the lake, he would build a defensive wall for the merfolk. The moment Jack finished speaking, the butler raised his hand and summoned a wall of earth using earth magic. Then Jack used production magic to transform it. In the blink of an eye, the earthen wall turned into a solid concrete wall. Witnessing this scene completely shattered their understanding of production magic. However, the shocking events didn't end there. After learning from Jack that the blonde man was actually the king, the merfolk chief expressed his willingness to pursue deeper exchanges with human society in this era. As a gesture of sincerity, he presented Jack with a piece of pink metal ore. Seeing this, the king and the prime minister immediately became excited. This pink ore was an extremely rare fantasy metal in the world. If they took it back and forged a long sword from it, it would definitely become a national treasure level weapon. But the moment they finished speaking, Jack used his production magic to turn the pink ore into a sword. The craftsmanship and design of the blade completely outclassed the artisans of the royal capital. The king loved it at first sight and offered to pay a large sum of money to buy it. But what Jack wanted wasn't money. What he wanted was a promise that no matter what happened, he would never be transferred away from his territory. All he wanted was to create a peaceful and comfortable land where everyone could live happily. Hearing this, the king felt it was a great pity. He had originally hoped to bring Jack back to the royal capital for greater development, but since Jack was unwilling, he decided to respect his choice. Next, the king wanted to visit the newly discovered dungeon. However, just as they stepped onto the town street, a villager from the watchtower suddenly shouted a warning. Another dragon was flying straight toward them. Jack immediately gave the order for the villagers to prepare their defenses, but the dragon was faster